On a bright, sunny spring day, on the picturesque banks of the Danube River, specifically in the German town of Ulm, a calm, quiet baby was born, and his parents named him Albert. But as the years passed, something felt unsettlingly wrong. By the age of 3, Albert still hadn't uttered a single word. His father's worry only grew. He went to a local doctor, hoping for reassurance, only to hear a sentence that landed like a shock. "My dear, I'm afraid your son, Albert, may be on the autism spectrum." But thankfully, that diagnosis was wrong. Years went by. Then, on a scorching summer afternoon, young Albert was playing in the family garden when his father approached and placed something strange in his hands, an old compass. Albert stared in disbelief. "How is it moving? What's pushing it?" No hands, no strings, only invisible forces. And in that moment, something lit up inside him, an early spark that would grow into a mind capable of defying the rules and turning the very compass of physics in a new direction. Welcome to the journey of the genius Albert Einstein, a journey through key turning points, where we'll sink into the beauty of the details and drink from the source of inspiration itself. So tighten your seatbelts and let's begin together. Albert moved to Munich and entered the Luitpold Gymnasium. He wasn't a troublemaker, he was simply different. A strong student who asked too many questions and doubted even more than he asked. He refused to accept formulas as sacred truths. Every equation had to answer him first. Where did you come from and why? Some teachers couldn't stand it, but Albert didn't stop. He kept pressing and kept asking. After school, his real education would begin. He pushed beyond the curriculum, reading, exploring, and diving deeper every night. At 12, he was already studying algebra and geometry. By 14, he had mastered calculus. Hard to believe, right? Albert wasn't a top student in everything. He shined in math and physics, yet struggled, sometimes even failed, in history and language. And here, right in front of you, is the proof, his original report card. Albert lived for questions. His curiosity was relentless, and it turned his mind into a machine that never stopped thinking. He later described that period with a disarming honesty. "I have no special talent. I am only curious." And he left behind one rule that shaped everything that came next. The most important thing in your journey is never stop questioning. This chapter leaves us with a clear lesson. School doesn't set the limits of genius. What shapes a mind is what it does after the bell rings. Ask, search, understand, and above all, remember this: never ever stop questioning. Now we reach the second chapter of the story, Albert and work. It's the year 1900. In Zurich, he graduates from the Polytechnic Institute, today known as ETH Zurich, with a diploma in physics. And like any young man trying to find his place in the world, he started looking for a job. He tried teaching. He wrote for newspapers. He knocked on door after door, only to face rejection again and again. At one point, it got so discouraging that he even considered walking away from physics altogether and going into insurance sales. Just imagine the scene. Him at the door, trying to sell a policy with that famous name. "Good evening, sir. I'm Einstein. Would you like insurance for your equation?" Then, days later, Albert is at home, asleep, unaware that the next moment is about to change everything. Then it happens. A simple envelope lands in the mailbox. He opens it, reads the first line, and everything shifts. "Congratulations, Albert. You have been accepted for a position at the Swiss Patent Office. You can start tomorrow." And the very next morning, Albert is there. 3rd floor, room 86, a quiet wooden desk. The job itself is straightforward. He completes it fast, almost too fast. And then he does something rare. He uses the rest of the day for one thing only: thinking. Whenever a problem appeared, Albert didn't rush to fix it. He sat down and spent most of his time circling the question itself. Why did this happen? What caused it? Why, where, and how? Only when the problem was fully exposed would he spend a little time on the answer. So can we change the system, the schools, reality itself? Maybe not, but we can change ourselves, we can train the mind, discipline our thinking, sharpen our logic. You've heard of self-development, right? Good, because this is where the real work begins, my friends. Days turned into months, months into years. And from that quiet wooden desk, Albert began shaping ideas that would soon become some of the most important theories in modern science. And truly, the silence of that office wasn't just background, it was a tool. Albert Einstein would later emphasize the power of solitude. If you want clearer thinking, step away from the noise, sit alone, and let silence do its work. Because sometimes the simplest formula is this: you and your thoughts. That's why we always remind you on this channel, create your own corner, your own space to study and work. Because nothing, absolutely nothing, pulls hidden brilliance to the surface the way solitude does. Now we reach the moment everything changes. Albert flips the balance. It's 1905, the year history would later call his miracle year. In a single burst, he publishes 4 papers on light, energy, and motion. And physics is never the same again. For a while, the papers didn't cause the storm you'd expect. Then one name enters the story: Max Planck. He reads, pauses, rereads. And suddenly the message is clear. Whoever wrote this isn't just smart. This is a mind with momentum, the kind you don't stop. From a simple wooden desk, a 26-year-old is about to rewrite the rules of physics and energy. And as the years roll forward, his ideas keep coming, one after another, each one more disruptive than the last. But the chapters that come next? They're too big for a single episode, and they deserve a whole new video. And now, we reach the final stop, Albert and us. After everything we've seen, what do we actually take home? First, school is not the true measure of genius, because as you've seen, someone can shine in one field and struggle in others. What matters is this: don't let failure slip into your heart. Keep your direction clear and know exactly where you're going. And that brings us to the second lesson. No matter where life drops you, keep your eyes on your goals. Albert ended up in an office, doing a job he never truly wanted. And still, he kept running after his true dream, physics. So wherever you are right now, keep your dream in sight. Follow it. Chase it. Don't let it fade, because what is life without a dream? And what is determination worth if we don't aim it straight at that dream? And the third lesson is simple, but powerful. Think, ask, and challenge ideas. We've been given a mind with billions of cells, not to use it as a vault for memorization, but as an engine for understanding. Learn to think and learn to find knowledge, not just repeat it. Whether you're in school, at university, or on the job, keep your mind working. Because if you've been given a gift, then you owe it to yourself to use it well. And now the fourth point is your part. Tell me in the comments. What's the single lesson you took from this journey? And if you enjoyed this series, should we continue it? If you enjoyed this journey, subscribe and turn on notifications, because the next file we open might change the way you see the world.